The ultimate goal of Horses for Heroes is to make sure that the soldiers on the horses get the most independent riding experience that we can give them. We're using you guys today as soldiers from the Horse Cavalry Detachment at Fort Hood as our training team. We may have riders who have lost one or both legs. We may have riders who have lost one or both arms. We may have riders with burns. We may have riders that have much less serious injuries. But every injury is something that causes their center of gravity to be off, and that's what putting on a horse helps from a physical standpoint, is to help them get their center of gravity back in the middle of their body through being in the middle of a horse. We're going to assume that all of you have been through our regular sidewalking training, and that anyone who watches this video will have been through the sidewalker training at whatever center they are doing this program. You need to make sure that you have the horses available and the volunteers available to take on the additional weight and size of the riders. You don't want to be a mother hen, but you want to make sure that they're being responsible for themselves. And if they have wounds that may not have healed completely, it will be of a special concern for us as sidewalkers. So everyone needs to be aware of that. And you need to have a plan before you go into any of these classes of what the rider's been through, what the rider's abilities are, so that you can make this the most rewarding opportunity for them. Our job as sidewalkers and horse handlers and as an instructor is to make these guys and girls as independent as possible on the horse. So while we may start with a sidewalker on either side, but if the rider wants to fire a sidewalker, he or she has the ability to do that so long as the situation is safe. They can also fire their horse handler if they want to, as long as everyone is still sure of what their job is and how we make this the most positive experience for everyone. We're going to do 3 different types of mounts today for the training video. If you'll step forward to the horse, we're going to put your hands on the front of the saddle or on the horse's withers. There you go. And you're going to lift your right leg over the croup of the horse and sit down gently. Excellent. That's the simplest mount that we can do. You want to watch the rider's foot over here between the mount, the ramp, and the horse so that it doesn't get caught. This mount is called the crest mount. For this mount, Adam is going to be responsible for the balance of Pena, who is getting on the horse. Philip's going to be responsible for lifting his legs over the crest of the horse and putting one on either side of the horse. Josh is going to help with Pena's balance from that side and assist in making sure that a leg gets on either side of the horse. He's going to turn around and sit on the horse gently. Good. Then we're going to lift his legs up, bring them over the horse on either side. When Pena is in the middle and feels safe, he can ask his horse to walk on.
Walk on, Leroy.
I think it's really important before you do any mount, especially in a situation where your sidewalkers may not have been there every week, that you talk through the plan every time that you do it. That way everybody knows what they're responsible for, including the rider. For this mount, we're going to lift Sergeant Pena out of the chair and put him on the saddle with his legs going over the crest of the horse. Sergeant Minshew is going to be responsible for making sure that he lands in the middle of the saddle. Specialist Bird is going to lift his torso and make sure that that gets over the top of the saddle. Sergeant Hernandez is going to be responsible for the legs. He's going to lift them up and make sure that they go on either side of the horse's crest. Specialist Bird needs to position himself so that he can, with the least amount of strain on his back, lift the soldier and set him on the horse. It's very important that you practice this and have a plan before you get started so that everyone knows their job. Move the wheelchair out of the way, and when you're ready, ask your horse to walk on.
Walk on, Leroy.
We're going to practice an emergency dismount, so everyone needs to be prepared all the time. But in this case, we're going to assume that the rider's coming left. So Philip's going to pull off. When I say spook, the rider's going to lean to the left. Philip's going to grab him by wrapping his arms around his chest. You're going to make sure on that side, Josh, that his legs get free of the saddle and of the reins. Philip's going to pull him away from the horse, and Josh is going to come around and make sure that that he's between the rider and the horse to keep him safe. Spook. This is a dismount into the wheelchair. You are going to be responsible for his torso. You're going to be responsible for his legs. You're responsible for getting him off that side of the horse and onto this side. You're going to grab him around his chest, just like you do when you pull off in case of an emergency. When everyone's ready, we're going to count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Good. Good. Nice and gentle. Great job. This is a crest dismount. So both legs up over the crest. You're going to turn and you're going to put your legs down and slide. There you go. That'll be good.
Hot to try!